Hi YouTube family, so in this video we are going to learn how to assign credentials to a Terraform. There are different ways. Now these ways which I am explaining right now, these are common for all the providers. It is not something that this is only going to apply for the AWS. This is going to be for all the provider. If you are working on GCP, if you are working on AWS, if you are working on Azure, the same thing will help you. Okay, now I will go step by step in this video. So the first we are going to start with a simple way. When we need to assign a credential in the Terraform, what exactly the Terraform is, now you already know. If you still have doubt what exactly the Terraform is, you can always go and watch my previous video. Now this video is a series of Terraform, so I recommend you that you go step by step in this so that you can understand each and everything. Now little bit about the Terraform. Terraform is an infra as a code. With the help of the Terraform, we can automate and manage our infrastructure in the sense, like, let's suppose I need to create couple of machine, and when I need to create a machine, I also need to create the virtual CPU, VPC. I also need to create couple of IP address. I also need to install couple of scripts while creating my machine. So all those things I can do with the help of the Terraform. And Terraform is a open source, and it is using a declarative language. Now when I what exactly it means when I say the declarative language. So declarative means a program specify what to do rather than how to do it. We have alternate tools as well in the market, but Terraform is one of the tool which is very famous nowadays. Now when we need to create any resource with the help of the Terraform, or when we need to manage any infra with the help of the Terraform, then we need to supply the credentials. Let's suppose I need to create a S3 bucket. Now from Terraform, if I need to create a S3 bucket in a AWS account, how the Terraform will get to know, like in which account, in which region I need to create those things. So that is something with the help of the provider, or that is something with the help of the credentials we specify, so that Terraform will do the API call. Now let's start with the first way how we can assign credentials in the Terraform. So the first way is going to be the simple one. So for that, let me log into my AWS console. So if you are not sure like how to log into the AWS console, again you can go and watch my previous video so that you will get idea like how you can create an account in AWS. Now let's suppose your account is already created. So here I logged into my account, and here I'm in Mumbai region, and here AP South 1. Now we have the code here as well, so AP South 1. Now the next thing which I need to do is I need to go to the IAM. Now what exactly the IAM? That is the identity and the access management. Now from here I can create the credentials for the user. Now let's suppose I need to create a user. So how to create a user? By clicking on the user, and then we need to click on the add user. Now here we need to provide the username. So let me go with Terraform-user. Now here we have couple of options. The first one is the access key, and the other one is the password. We need to go with the first one, that is the access key programmatic access. Now if you see here, it says the AWS API calls. Now what exactly the API? Now this is the Terraform is going to use in order to call any resources in the AWS. So I have selected the access key. Now I need to give the permission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach the admin permission so that this user can do anything. Now review and create user. Once we are going to create a user, we will get the access key and the secret key. Now this is something I need to copy it somewhere. So let me copy this thing, and what I'm going to do is let me go to the Visual Studio. Okay, let me do one thing. Okay, now here I'm going to this is the access key and this is the secret key. Yes, correct. Now the next thing is I need to configure this access key and the secret key with Terraform. So I'm already here in the Terraform series. Now here let me go to the provider.tf. So here is the provider.tf, and let me do one thing. Let me go and search for Terraform AWS provider. I also need to mention the resource so that I will get exactly what I'm looking on the Google. Now the first document I need to open, this is from the Terraform AWS provider. Now if I scroll down here, it says if you are using a Terraform version 0.13 or later, then this is the way by which you can configure the provider. Now let me scroll down a bit, scroll down. Now here it is. This is the thing I need. Let me copy this thing and let me paste it here. Okay, now here the first thing which we need to give, that is the region name. So let me go to my AWS console. Now the region here is this US East 1. I'm not in US East 1. Let me, okay, let's consider that we are working in the US East 1. So we need to change this one to US East 1. Now here we need to give the access key and the secret key. So this is the first way of giving the credentials. Okay, and this is a simple way. Generally we are not following this thing in the production or in any of the environment. We are not following this thing. It is just for you as you are learning this thing. So you can go with a simple way by providing the credentials. Okay, now here I have mentioned the access key and the secret key. Now you can see the access key and the secret key are in the plain text. So anyone who will get access to this provider.tf will get access to these credentials as well, and that is a kind of a risky thing. So we want to avoid those kind of scenarios, but that's okay. This is the first way of giving the credentials. Now the second one is the resource. So from where I have copied this thing, let me go here and let me type AWS S3 bucket Terraform resource. Now let me open the first one, and when I open the first one, if I scroll down here, it is telling me like how to create a bucket with the help of the Terraform. Now I can copy this thing. Now the same thing, we can edit those things, but that is something I will explain in the next part of the video. I don't want you guys to get confused because Terraform is a long way to go. So just go step by step so that you will not get confused. Okay, now this is the reason why I am bringing this thing here, so that we can identify whether our credentials are working or not. The way we are providing credentials to the Terraform are working or not. Okay, now what I need to do is, next I need to open the terminal. Now new terminal. Now here I am in the terminal. So the first command which I am going to run, that is Terraform init. Now in this video I am not going to explain you. Okay, you can go to my previous video. There I have explained what is Terraform it, what is Terraform plan, what is Terraform apply. Okay, now I ran this command and this command runs successfully. That's great. Now the next thing which I need to do is Terraform plan. Now let's wait. Now it is telling me invalid provider configuration. That means I'm doing something wrong. Now here something is not correct. That is the reason it is giving me this error message. Provider registry Terraform. This is add a provider block. So probably the case is I have not saved my provider.tf file. So let me save this file first and let me rerun this. Now here we go. It is telling me plan is 1 to add, 0 to change, 0 to destroy. So that means it is creating the bucket right now. So that means the credentials I gave in a correct format. So this is the first way of providing the credentials. Now let's move to the second way. So for that, let me do one thing. Let me I'm sorry, I need to click here. Okay. Now the second way. Now the second way is by creating a variable file. Okay, so here I have created one variable file. So how I have created, I clicked on this and then it asked me to enter the file name, and I enter the file name as variable.tf. Now you can enter this one as var.tf, that is totally up to you, or you can give any name, that is totally up to you. It is not going to make any difference. Okay, now the next thing is, rather than providing credentials in the plain text here, what I can do is I can provide the variable name here, but for that I need to create a variable somewhere. So from where I'm going to create here. Now how to create a variable? If you have followed this series, then I have also explained how to configure the Visual Studio and how to install the extension. If you are facing any problem where you are not getting these auto populated things, then you can go and watch that video so that you will get idea how to install the extension for the Terraform, so that you will get all those things. Now let me click on this thing. Now what I need to do is, here I need to give the name. So let me give a friendly name like access key. The type of this thing is string. Again, in this video I'm not going to explain, you can go and watch my other video, you will get idea. Default. Now here in the default I need to provide what? The access key. So let me copy the access key from here, let me paste it here. In the description I can enter the description like for AWS account 1 or for production account, something like this. Whatever I need to enter in the description, I can do that. The same way I need to create one more variable, that is for the secret key. So again I will go with the same variable. Now here the name I will give secret underscore key. The type is going to be string, and in the default I need to update those things. So let me copy this thing, paste it here. We are done. Now what I need to do is I need to go to my provider.tf. Now here, rather than giving this thing in the plain text, what I need to do is I need to remove this thing and enter something like var.access key. Now why var? So that means it's a variable, and which variable I need to use? The name which I gave here. Here I can give any name, that is totally up to me. Access key I'm giving because so that I can identify this thing, but here we can give any name. We can give 1, 2, anything we can give here. Now the next thing, I need to remove this thing, var.secret key. Now let me save this thing. Let me run the Terraform init first and then Terraform plan. If I have configured this thing correctly, then I will get this result. Okay, so I'm getting, that means it is correctly configured. So this is the second way of providing credentials to the Terraform. Now the third way. Now the third way is a bit tricky one. Now for that, what we need to do is, we don't want to provide the credentials here. I don't want to provide the credentials in the variable.tf. Let me save this thing. I don't want to provide the credentials here. Now how we can do that thing? For that, what we need to do is, we need to configure the credentials on our local machine. So let's do that. So how to configure the credential on the local machine? Again, I have created one of the video that is in the AWS series. You will get the link in the description. You can go and watch that video so that you will get idea like how to configure AWS CLI on Windows, on Linux or Mac machine. Now the command is AWS configure --profile. Now I always go with the profile name. If you are not going to mention the profile here, what will happen? The profile name for you is the default profile. Okay, so Terraform -user. Here I can give any profile name, that is totally up to me to identify these credentials. Okay, now the first thing, I need to provide the access key. So let me get the access key from here. Okay, now here is the access key. Let me copy this thing. Oops, sorry, pasted here. Secret key. Now the default region name, that is US East 1. Default output format is going to be the JSON, or we can leave this thing as it is. If we are not going to provide anything here, it is going to consider JSON, so don't worry about this thing. Now I have give this profile. The profile name is Terraform-user. So that is the thing I need to mention it here. Okay, so how to mention this thing? Now let me remove this thing completely and paste it this thing. Okay. Now here the profile, we need to give the name. So the name which I configured here, the same name we need to provide here. Okay, and then the region, we have also configured the region, but if you want to give the region, you can give. If you want to avoid this thing, you can avoid this thing. That's okay, totally up to you. Let me save this thing. Now here you are going with the more secure way. How you are going with the more secure way? Because here you are not providing the credentials in the provider.tf, variable.tf, or anywhere in the Terraform configuration. Where exactly you are providing your credential in the local machine. So that is, the recommended way. Most of the companies, or most of when we are working in a production environment, or so we follow generally this kind of approach only. Okay, now again I need to go with the same thing, like Terraform init first and then Terraform plan. If everything is fine, it is not going to give me any credential error message, right? So it is not giving me any of the credential error message. It is showing me the plan. So that means the way I configured the provider is correct. Great. Now the next way is, I don't want to give it here, but I have a temporary credentials. See, it might be a possibility that in this machine on this machine where I logged in, there is a different credentials, and those credentials don't have access to the Terraform. Or let me give you a real world scenario. Let's suppose on this local machine there is a credentials already configured, and those credentials don't have access to create a machine. Now what? I need a credential so that I can create a machine. So I need a temporary credentials or something, right? Now here is a way I can do that. I can get those temporary credentials, and rather than providing those credentials in the provider or the variable file, what I can do is I can configure it on my local machine as well. So how to do that thing? Let me show it to you. Now here we need to go to our this thing local terminal. Let me remove this thing and let me save it. Now here I need to go step by step. Let me paste it here. So the first one is export this thing. Okay, now here we need to give the credentials. Export AWS Access Key ID. Now this is something in the same format. This will, if you are going to change the format, it is not going to work. This is something provided by the Terraform, so we need to stick with the same way this has been done. Okay, now export AWS. Now here I need to provide my access key. So let me see my access key from where I will get it. Okay, from here I will get it. Let me copy this thing, and I need to give it in the double quotes here. Paste. Now the next, for the secret key, again double quote, and let me get it from here. Okay, great. Let me remove this thing as well. We are done. So we have configured the temporary credentials here. Now if you look at the provider, there is no credentials. If you look at the variable, there is no credential. Let me save this file. Let me save the provider file as well, and now let me run Terraform init. Done. And then Terraform plan. Great. So this thing is also working for me by providing credentials like this. So as of now, we talk about couple of ways by which we can provide the credentials, right? So the first one is with the plain text, second one is with the help of the variable, the third one with the help of the profile, the fourth one with the help of the export command. Now there is one more way as well. Now the next way is something which we are using mostly in our production environment. In our production environment, we always go and use the roles. We are not going with the IAM user. We always go with the roles. Now, why roles? Again, if you want to know this thing in detail, you can always go and watch my previous video where I have explained the difference between the role and the user. Now, let's suppose I have one of the role created with me. So for that, let me go to my AWS console. So here I am in my AWS console. Let me go to the role, and what I need to do is how to assign the credentials for the role. For that, we need the ARN of the role. So let me copy this ARN. Okay, I have copied this ARN. See, in the role we don't have the option to provide the access key and the secret key, right? So in the role we can go with this ARN, that is the Amazon resource name. Now how to provide the role name? For that, let me go here. Okay, let me correct this thing. Okay, sometimes I do silly mistakes, so that's okay. Okay, now provider is AWS assume role. Now here the role ARN. So here we need to provide the role ARN. Session name, you can give any session name. You can go and give default anything, like let me go and default. External ID we don't need to provide, so let me remove it from here. Let me save this thing and let me run this thing, but this time we will get the error message. Terraform plan. Now why we are getting error message, we know the reason, because I randomly pick one of the role from here. This is a Lambda role in my account, right? I picked a random role. So this role, it is giving me the error message for the role cannot be assumed. For that we need to create a assumed role. Now here in this video I'm not going to create a assumed role because it is going to take a lot of time in order to create that. But let's suppose you have a assumed role and you need to define that thing in the Terraform, so you can do it by this way. Okay, the only thing you need, that is the ARN for the role, and you can provide it here. Okay, now by this way you can assign credentials to the Terraform. I hope you like this video. You understand how to provide credentials to the Terraform. And if you really like this video, do subscribe my channel